Good afternoon, all of you here, and
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm the moderator for this panel here today. And just to introduce myself, I'm Sejal Chauhan, representing Script Interiors, and I'm an interior and architect by profession, and into this field for 18 plus years, and so happy to be here on this dais here, so to have a panel discussion with and a very interactive session with all of you here. We'd like to hear from all of you. Introduce you, if you all can introduce yourself, and yeah.
Hello, it's lovely to be here today with Eveready to discuss lighting and how it plays a big important role in design. My name is Mridula, and I'm an architect from ED Plus Architecture, and I'm excited to be part of this panel discussion with lovely other architects and designers.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Subrata Sen. On behalf of Eveready, I welcome you all for this. Let's have a very candid discussion on that. And since I am representing Eveready, it's also a learning session for all of us. And I have also got few of my colleagues here who will also understand what CEO needs and how we can add more value from Eveready side.
Hello, I'm Abhinandan from Story Inside Interiors. I'm an interior designer, and we're based out of Chennai. It's been about 11 years that we are into this profession, and I'm happy to be a part of this and share and learn.
Hi Sejal, hi everybody. I run a design firm. I practice architecture and interiors. Mostly we do residential projects, but also doing some commercial and retail projects as well. Thank you for having me here on this panel.
Thank you.
Myself, Jerry Meshak. I am the principal architect of Dwellian Architects, and I am into this practice for more than 18 years now. So we have done projects ranging from residential to industrial, commercial, hospitality, institutional, and everything. So we done more than 500 plus projects. I have been recognized nationally and internationally for excellence in the field of architecture, and we are happy to be here for representing the panel on behalf of Eveready. Thank you so much.
Well, when we think of Eveready, the only punchline which comes onto my mind is "Give me red," which is they started right from the battery, that region, and now we know that they have branched out into various other verticals under them, which is architectural lighting. And today we are talking about the topic being the role of adaptive lighting and how it enhances in commercial spaces. If we can throw in our insights on this, I would like to start with you, Mridula.
Sure, I think adaptive lighting as such in the past used to be something that is an added advantage, but I think now it's more or less a given, where when we as designers are designing a space, we want the fixtures and the kind of fittings to be adaptive, not just in the sense of its physicality, but also in its illumination levels. So I would choose a fitting that is adjustable, which can be rotated to maybe highlight a certain wall, or in commercial spaces maybe, you know, a display of clothing. So it should be something that is dynamic, but also with the latest technology and tools available, we can also ensure that the light fitting is dynamic in its illumination levels. So dimming qualities, etc., can be used to our advantage through automation. And I think that is something that we really look for as architects and designers, to make our spaces more functional, more multi-purpose, and dynamic as well as aesthetic. So that also feeds into the design aspect of the space.
A lot of working for me what Mridula just spoke about it, but I would pass your inputs first and listen from all of you, and then I'll come back what as Eveready can add value to it on the point of adaptive lighting. So please carry on, I'll come back later.
So I totally agree to what Mridula had said, and I just want to add that it's made our projects more flexible in terms of lighting. It adds to the aesthetics, that is really, really important. And adaptive lighting is something that adapts to the preferences of a client or an employee. So, and if that's a great part, I think.
Yeah, well said, Abhinandan. I'd like to just add one factor. We know about the wellness standards for lighting, where they have stipulated a lot of important aspects in lighting, which is meant to contribute to the wellness factor of the occupant. Here is where adaptive lighting actually plays a very vital role, because end of the day, we as designers, we may go break all boundaries to design amazing built environments for our user, but the final lighting, what kind of lighting we apply in that built space, that's what actually enriches the environment, and that's what actually shows our design intent to its fullest, I feel. So that's the finishing line, the crossing line that we say. So I think lighting does play a very important role.
Agree with you completely.
Sorry?
Pushes the boundary.
Definitely does.
Moreover, like what Virdula and Anu said, there's more need of adaptive lighting nowadays when compared to the traditional lighting.
Yeah.
So it gives a lot of scope for dynamic adjustments. It is also energy efficient, cost effective, as well as it can be integrated with the technology right now. So based on the user preference, you can even personalize the lighting based on the user preference, whether it is a workspace or a hospitality or a retail or a public park, let's say. Even that can also be customized. So adaptive lighting plays a major role nowadays for when it comes to interiors as well as architecture. So it's high time for us to adapt to the adaptive lighting, to know more about it and get in touch with the right people like Eveready and other people.
So just to add, I take few of the points which the panel just highlighted. One is the well-being part, which maybe 10 years back nobody used to talk about it, what lighting can do for it. And another is the adaptive part. It's a very common thing that once a person ages, his or her lighting requirement also changes a lot. I mean, that's a part of it, that maybe at an age of 25 you require a different lighting level for doing a similar activity. But as a person moves towards 50s, his lighting requirement also changes. And coming back to the well-being part, it has become so important now, and I think most of you are talking about it. And as an Eveready, we do have lot of solutions for that. So just to highlight a few of them is that when you talk of well-being, is that we want each and every individual to be open to or exposed to the natural part of the lighting. And unfortunately, we can't do it. We have to stay indoors. So how as a lighting manufacturer we can add value to it, that needs to be seen. So we do have all solutions which you can change the intensity, change the color temperature, mimic the natural light, and give all those flexibilities to you as a designer. So that entire, all sorts of solutions with DALI drivers, even wireless drivers are also available, where you can use low energy Bluetooth technology. Without doing the wiring, you can change the intensity, address each of those luminous individually, and give you that flexibility for your customer, so that they can be, you can imagine they are the almost 100% compliance as far as adaptivity you talk of. So those things are available in the industry. Eveready is completely ready to deliver you that. It's all, and once after this session, our local team will also get in touch with you and will actually help you to deliver those things which your customers are demanding.
Well, as rightly told by all of you, that lighting plays a very, very significant role in any kind of spaces that we design, be it commercial or residential spaces. But to what degree can we actually get this customized in terms of when we certify to some of these projects which are green building, which is with the various things under it. So what do you think that we can get this adaptive lighting into a more prominent feature when it comes to giving in our I mean, when talking to a lighting consultant also, if we can just give in some inputs on this.
Sure, I think when you speak of adaptive as a term, even if you take the animal kingdom, the animals that adapt more live longer. So the same way, if your light fitting is able to adapt to different functions of a space, different customers using that space, different age groups, you're automatically succeeding because you're sustaining that fitting for a longer period of time. And as architects, we also really value brands that use sustainable methods to produce their products, as well as give us a good enough lifetime and durability of the product, so we don't have to, we can assure our clients that you don't have to change the fitting every 10 years. It'll last. Maybe you'll have to change one or two, but not your entire ceiling. So I think adaptive technology is great because it does prolong the life of your indicated design or your product, and I think that is the only way forward, because times are changing in such a way that if you maybe give out a retail space to one brand, they might not do great business, they might move out, but your space still needs to be able to handle the change for another occupant. So since we are talking about retail spaces, I think adaptive technology is very important in retail, but also in other aspects of even residential design, where in a bedroom someone would want maybe slightly like a natural light color temperature for the daytime or in the evenings, but when they are going to sleep they might want more ambient, warmer temperatures
or a dimmable.
Exactly, because that actually helps you sleep. You need to cut off blue light when you're sleeping, so you might be more comfortable with warmer temperatures. So light fittings that can even alter the color temperature will also serve a great purpose when we do spec out items while designing interiors, I think.
Very well said.
So it's like similar like what Mridula said. Even workplaces, you can still have a cooler temperature with 4,000 to 5,000 Kelvin, where it increases the productivity for the workers, as well as even 2,700 to 3,000 Kelvin can be used in the hospitality industry. Even showcasing a product in a retail, that can also be added advantage when it comes to adaptive lighting, which will increase the sales for the retail people. So there's a lot of scope when it comes to adaptive lighting. It's not just going to be a tube light or any of your 100 watts bulb, which will just do the needful and which decreases the production. These adaptive lighting also enhance these kind of spaces, which will increase the productivity when it comes to workspaces. When it comes to retail,
just to prompt in between, the same space can be used for meeting rooms, to a social gathering, to a presentation room.
When it comes to, let's say, workspace design, your workspace can be defined in a different space. Your conference room can also be defined in a different space, where the lighting can be dimmed up. There's no use of having a partition also, unless until if you need an acoustical partition. So all these can be demarcated using the lighting also. So lighting plays a major role in everything.
I'd like to just add a point to what Jerry said. He mentioned the bulb and the tube light. So see, I think it's also essential for us to understand the background of these traditional lights, the evolution of lighting technology that we have seen, to understand at what advantageous position we are in today, where we can make the choice. So to get a background, back in 1870s is when the first artificial light was patented by Thomas Edison, where the incandescent bulb came. Yes, the color temperature was very similar to that of natural light, but it was highly energy inefficient. It was consuming more energy. So this is what got most of the policymakers in the world really worried and concerned. And so attempts were made to how we can make the lighting technology a little more energy efficient. Then came the CFLs, compact fluorescent lights. These were, yes, very energy efficient, but they cannot be dimmed or brightened. And also it had gave out a very strange spectrum of light. Only certain hues of blues and greens and oranges were coming out. And also these CFLs, they flicker a lot. So the end user experience is not great. A lot of headaches and eye fatigue. These are all the impacts of CFL. Subsequently, thanks to the Japanese, in the 1990s, the LEDs and OLEDs came into the picture, which came with all sorts of benefits. They're highly energy efficient, they can be dimmed, they can be brightened, and for the first time ever, we are able to generate the entire spectrum of white light. That is that is the technology that we have today. Now, having said this, how are we able to add certain flexibility to this lighting technology so that we are on this sustainable path, so that at the end, user, the occupant of the space is able to enjoy the space to the maximum, because lighting is not only about illumination. It's also about creating an environment that nurtures your body, mind and soul, right? So I think that's where we designers have to really meticulously plan and what kind of lighting we need to choose for a particular place.
No, just to add to your point, I mean, lighting has got so much importance, just not to create the illumination level as you rightly highlighted, it creates the ambience. And just to give you a common example, if you go to a fast food joint like Pizza Hut, you have got a very general lighting. You go to a specialty restaurant where there is a lot of intimacy when the people get in, that's the expectation for any customer to get in, you have got a very subtle accent lighting. So that proves that lighting creates the ambience, and that is the business requirement. Now coming back to modern office, modern workspace, we term it as a modern workspace. There you have got the open office platform which we are using, most of you know about it. There we have got all general illuminations. Now people to come to the point which you highlighted on the green and the wellness standards and all that, people are going for localized lighting, reducing the general illumination level so that you save more energy. And increase the localized lighting, so that, because in an organization there can be a 25-year-old person and a 50-year-old person also, so his lighting requirements are different. So you give that benefit, give most personalized lighting system for him, reduce the illumination level. And then you see in the modern offices you have got conference rooms with LED coming in, you can create different scenes. You are having open discussions, you have got a presentation mode, everywhere you create different scenes with LED lighting. And then you have got breakout areas in modern offices where people are suffering from so much of stress. So people go, and there you create so much of colors in the meeting rooms. And the lighting is absolutely like a breakout area, like a discotheque maybe. And lighting gives you that simulation to enjoy your experience. So that is the power of lighting. And since most of you are doing lot of designing, now with the present technology of LED, everything is possible. Because the light source has become so small, with the lenses you can have the lighting impact on any object you want to highlight. You go to a jewelry shop, you have got lights so small that a particular gem or a diamond needs to be highlighted, you can do that and keep all other areas dark to create that attention level.
That particular object.
So that's the power of LED lighting now. And Eveready lighting on every aspect of working, and is able to and can assure you that we can deliver those products, those solutions for you.
I agree to what you were just saying, that spotting a specific spot could really enhance a user experience as well. And while I agree to the user experience, definitely it enhances it widely.
Added to it, there's something called a circadian rhythm of human being. Right. So it gets, the light helps a lot with respect to the circadian rhythm of a human being. So when compared to the daylight outside, let's say a worker works inside a building, so he'll feel that when the light comes up, he feels that still it's day and its productivity increases. So light plays a major role in everything nowadays.
And I think there are so many examples of interesting new technologies developed, wherein you usually have dressing rooms which have no windows, right? So now the solution is to have like a sky-like barisol stretch ceiling, which would mimic the quality of a skylight in that space. So there are so many different solutions to creating that connect for the human being to the outside, which I think we're all in constant search of always. So we always want to mimic what is outside inside, because we are forced by climatic conditions to be inside. And even in terms of, I think what he was saying about focusing on certain objects, I think with the advance of technology, where we had CFLs and halogens which were flooding the space with light, now we have smaller micro lights which can even be fitted into the tiniest corners of a cabinet, which can highlight smaller elements. And when it comes to spaces, even retail stores, if you take like a lifestyle the lighting of a lifestyle versus a Sabyasachi store. There's a huge difference because they're trying to create layers in a high-end store, they're trying to create a story, they're trying to make your eyes see things in a certain sequence, yeah, and build a story around that, which also speaks of their brand. So as designers, I think it's so important to understand who you're designing for, what they need, and use the lighting technology to create these layers of lighting. So you don't just see a space as a flat, open space, and it's no longer functional. It's about highlighting a material or a piece of furniture, or just actually not highlighting anything, just highlighting the people. So at the end of the day, it's about answering each of those requirements, and I think that is where we are spoiled with choices now with all the different fixtures that are in the market, and it's very exciting to see what is to come further as well.
Rightly said, we are spoiled with choices.
Yeah, we are spoiled with choices, yes.
Mridula, the point which you highlighted, creating a skyline.
Yeah.
This downlighter, this 2x2 what you are seeing, we have a 2x2 luminaire which actually mimics the sky.
Yeah.
Okay, and we have got a sensor into it and also a driver into it which will change the sky as the
Time of the
day
day,
moves.
yes.
Yes, and this is being used in hospitals because where the patient is after the surgery or something like that, so that he can see the entire ceiling as if he is in a, even though he is in a hospital or he or she is in a hospital, but he is feeling that as if he is in an open sky.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's a great
helps
feature.
that helps in well-being.
Yeah.
So that you can do it in offices also, you can have it in maybe in residences also, it's possible. So those solutions are also available now.
I just wanted to add that we are ready for the scalability also when we use adaptive lighting. Like for the future, whenever we want to adapt to any technology that is like that we foresee, we are ready for that.
Yeah, definitely, because now as designers, as architects, when clients come to us with 1 lakh square feet of office space, they say, I need 200 walls and I don't need 200 walls. Right, because the space has flexibility is the key nowadays. So they want the space to be able to cater to certain specific requirements, and when not required, it just has to, it's multifunctional. Basically, requirements are multifunctional. So same way, lights also have to move with that kind of a flexibility, design flexibility possibility is, I think that's very critical.
Well, how can we as designers stay informed about the latest development in adaptive lighting, if y'all can, so that all of us can grow on that same platform?
Through this panel discussion.
Pick up all your vendors' calls and meet them. Yeah. That is the first thing we can do.
So a lot of work for me, that's what you are suggesting.
Really, thanks a lot to Eveready Lighting and One Digital for creating this platform.
Yes.
So, and also these kind of interactions, one is we get to know each other, we get to know who our supplier is, we get to understand the passion behind the design of each of these products. Also, let this be also an awareness campaign to anybody who is watching this, and this is the technology that is available to us today. Let's avail it.
I think my colleague will also take a lot of responsibility of this, and he will through our LinkedIn and through our all social platforms, we will share all these discussions for more and more people to learn about it and also know what Eveready is doing for it.
Maybe you can host a campaign for the architects and interior designers.
I think Prashant has got a lot of responsibility in that. So he is my colleague who will take that responsibility.
Because on a day-to-day basis, at least we need to know, okay, what is there new there in the industry, or how do we adapt to the newer changes, which are the new techniques, the advancements which has been.
So my constant source of information is basically YouTube channels, or following people like influencers or designers or architects on Instagram and other portals. And also we could take part in online courses where we could get to the skin of something very specific if we wish to learn. And there are various other.
Normally these paper advertisements don't work with the professionals.
Oh yeah.
We need to see.
We need to see.
But
Do the
seeing
deal,
is
do the-
The
believing,
experience
right?
also is much better.
Because see, at the end of the day, a client comes to us completely trusting that we'll give them the best
Yeah.
possible
Yeah.
solution, right? At the end of the day, we are attaching our name with that product. So we will need to see it in play. We'll need to see that assurance that it will be durable, it will
Review.
function well, and also need to see the support team and what kind of service they will provide later.
the back-end service.
Yeah, you need to have that value added service, not just something that you provide and then wash your hands off saying, I don't know how it works, or it's now you fix it. So when we attach our name to that, we always take care to specify products that meet our standards. So I think that is when the connect with the company is so important, because then they keep us updated on what is new, what is in development, and we also get to know how much R&D goes into each product, right? Because that is what brings value to a project.
There are a lot
I
of
hope
market.
all the Eveready people out here is listening to our requirements so that we know what we are picking up and choosing the right product. When definitely, as she told, everything is tagged to that
Yes.
particular product.
Yeah, there are a lot of marketplace without doing R&D. They just buy something from
Exactly.
China and they sell it,
Exactly.
stamp it and sell it. No? R&D is more important for any product because, as you said, we are stamping our name in any product and we are selling it. It's
Correct.
just a personal interaction, personal assurance we are giving to the client. No?
Right.
So
like for example, any project, the lighting budget could go from 40 lakhs to 70 lakhs. So when the client looks at me and says, why should I pay 70 lakhs for my house's lighting? We bring both the players to our office, we show them the differences in light and the same fitting on a piece of wood. Like the light picks up the reds in the wood better when it's a slightly better fitting versus this. So our job as architects to convince them, see, you're spending so much on your exotic Brazilian stones and your teak wood, and at the end of the day, lighting is what encompasses everything. It's what connects that material to your vision. So a lighting can really make or break a space, and I truly believe that because I've seen it happen. A beautifully designed space can be completely ruined with bad lighting. Just like portraits, you highlight what you want and you hide what you don't want to see, and sometimes there's beauty in that. Understanding exposure, contrast, dark and light. There's so much intricacy involved. So we like to be also in collaboration with designers who are very nitpicky about these things. Sometimes we send a lighting layout and they come back reducing the lights, and I'm very happy because then I know that they've understood, that function needs only this much light. We don't want to flood it with light and kind of make it very overwhelming and overstimulating for the client.
looks like we are doing half of the job of what Eveready does. Now we're convincing the clients.
See, and also talking about how we get to know about what fittings are available or what is the latest, I think information can also flow both ways, because sometimes, like we say, necessity is the mother of invention. So when there is a unique requirement for a particular project or client, so that's when there has to be an open dialogue with suppliers and vendors and manufacturers. So is there a possibility that we can bring in that feature into this light? So that kind of questions will probably also be motivating to develop new. Like for example, apart from these occupancy sensor feature in the light, we can also have data collection feature. Like in a retail space, if I am a user who's going and navigating through the products, how much time I am engaging with that particular product can be picked up by the light fitting that is focusing on that product. And what is the footfall on which sections of that retail space for how long. So these kind of vital features can be quite critical.
That's R&D.
It's actually a very, very
It's a very valid point, and there is a technology for that, and people are really working on that, because it's not only for retail space, the example which you gave in, there is a similar working which are also happening for modern workspace also, because real estate is very costly. So if some company has designed a modern workspace for maybe 50 people, and tomorrow that company's business is increasing and they want 20 more people to join, so he has got a choice whether he increases the workspace area, means he has to pay more money to the retail space, to the workspace area. Or he can also use this lighting to really find it out whether those 50 people sits there in the office from morning to evening. Because normally there are many people who are moving around in the market or doing tours and all that. So lights can have sensors to really sense whether that 50 workspace area is 100% occupied or not. And instead of increasing it by 20 more workstations, maybe he can manage it with 5 workstations. So that's also where lighting can work beyond illumination.
Yes,
It's just not illumination, it is actually giving you the data points as you are highlighted for that retail space, that how much a customer is spending seeing a particular merchandise or seeing a particular product line. And based on that, he designs a system, or whether he wants to pass on more discount on that product line. If that particular merchandise is not selling, then he gives more discount to attract customers. So
Valuable information.
so illumination is actually gone beyond illumination, and many European companies or European metro shops, they have started using that technology and started working on that, and maybe in India also it will come very quickly.
Knowing all of this, I think I also personally feel that the fixture also, right, the way it has been designed, and not to see, we as designers would like to see only the light source and not the fixture. Right. So in terms of designing the fixtures, can we also have some insights as in, from each of you saying that, okay, what is your personal experience on having it on the ceiling or?
So as
I'll
per
take
my
this question. Okay, you can.
as per my experience, I will always look at a very sleek design.
Yeah.
Rather than having a bulgy design taking up the entire space of the ceiling. It should not be seen very evidently, and it should be more cost effective as well as.
Yeah.
Now nowadays lighting, initial spending of the lighting will be too high when it comes to a customer perspective view. But the point is the amount of money is going to save over a period of time because it's going to be LED or lighting. So we have to make them understand that we are going to save money. And it should be the luminosity of the color temperature of the light should not hit directly to the eyes. This is what we normally look at.
You mean anti-glare?
Yeah, anti-glare, as well as you should not feel
See the source of light.
Yeah, see the source of light,
of light,
indirect
right.
lighting, a diffuse light maybe. So all these kind of stuff we will be definitely looking at. Let's say I'm going to look at a light directly, your eye shouldn't pain. All this stuff also we will look at while selecting a lighting.
So these are very critical points, and from a manufacturer perspective, we normally would like to create light sources which are as minimized in size, and we should be able to give you a solution where the source itself is not visible but the effect is visible. And now that is possible in technology because LED works on DC source. So what you can have all the drivers at a remote location. And since the LED is such a small chip, and then you can have the smallest of the lens available, and you can direct the light where you want it and make the light very small, so it's not visible, the point which you highlighted, and you get the effect of it. So no challenge of glare, the bulky light source is not visible, it has become very small, very cute, and entire driver circuit is somewhere remote, where you can hide it through some camouflage box or something like that, so it's not visible anywhere.
Adding to that, you can, let's say, one project we used the magnetic track light.
Yeah.
Now magnetic track you can just pull it out and put it in. And you can add more number of lights also.
And you can move the lights.
Yeah, you can still move
the lights. I mean, that gives you the flexibility. I mean, if the object you want to highlight is moving from different spaces, so the lights are always movable. You do not have to dismantle, do some work on the ceiling and all that.
That's a great feature what recently
So I think most designers look for less is more, because we want sleeker fittings but we still want the same effect that a larger fitting might provide. For example, in this ceiling you have light fittings, you have speakers, you have fire sprinklers, you have so many elements, right? So we don't want to further clutter it with large light fittings, and shape also matters, finish matters, and like sir said, even the fact that we can't see the source of light matters so much, because when you're in a space, you're like reading a book, you don't want that glare to hit you. With pin lights now, it's so easy to have very powerful sources of light without seeing anything. You'll just see 3 black dots on the ceiling. So these are new innovations which are part of the false ceiling that can be completely concealed, and we really look for new ways of expressing light in our spaces. One more thing I think is very important which we consider is the space that the fitting occupies inside the ceiling. So most of the time designers, lighting consultants give us a general rule of thumb, 125 mm you have to give and bring your false ceiling down, bring your false ceiling down. So the happier, it will make us happier if your fittings are smaller in size. So I did see 1 or 2 fittings that Eveready had which was just 75 mm. So then I made a mental note, okay, so when I don't have the ceiling height in a space and I'm kind of restricted by that, I will use these sleeker fittings which don't occupy too much space. So that is one more factor, because people want more monumental spaces. Every sort of centimeter counts in that sense, where you want larger ceilings, you want more light, you want all of that grandeur in a space. You can't really compromise on, you know, everything in terms of lighting. So I think that is one more factor that I really look at.
It also should be easy to install.
Yes.
Easy to install. It should also get integrated with the existing building system. So
and
all
easy to
these
repair
factors,
and
yes,
remove and
the
check.
maintenance should be easy.
Yeah, without breaking the false ceiling, like you should easily be able to kind of slot it out and check the fitting, replace any parts if necessary. We shouldn't have to cut the false ceiling and repaint and replaster. So this kind of adaptability is what we look for always in products, not just lighting, in terms of everything, AC, you know, all of the components that go into a house, it has to be adaptive.
And in the context of adaptive lighting, it's also important how well we are able to integrate this with the other smart controls, because we're looking at automation and smart systems, smart homes and smart buildings these days. So integration with all the smart devices, and also the ease with which the user can adjust the settings and the specifications. That's also quite important.
Now with the present technology, that's also very easily available, where you can have a wireless controls, where also you don't require a Wi-Fi also. But if you need data out of it, then maybe Wi-Fi is required. Otherwise, if you just go for a smart control, you can have a switch on a wall, where you can change the color temperature, you can change the intensity, maybe you can program it also. And I mean, morning it will start with so much of color temperature, and throughout the day the color temperature will change, and evening times it will become a warmer color, and then slowly you can, I mean, both color temperature and the intensity part, both can be programmed through a Bluetooth technology. And it works very nicely in residences, very nicely in offices, because what happens is that in each of those luminaires there is a component inside the driver which receives the Bluetooth control signals, and there is a controller which emits that Bluetooth signals, and it's a very low energy signal, and it also doesn't interfere with other signals also. And if you require a data from out of it, that how many hours that luminaire is burning, at what color temperature, then you will require a SIM card or to store a data in the cloud. So if you don't require data, then Wi-Fi is also not.
Data is usually required when we go for the certifications,
Yes,
when
yes.
we go for lead certifications and all that.
yes.
That's when you really need to record
Then in that
how
case,
much of energy has been
yes.
consumed.
In that case, you will require a Wi-Fi connection. And that data also can be taken in batches also. It's not that a continuous data transfer is required.
That's actually very vital, and it's a very critical role, because that is the proof that yes, this is the amount of energy I
Yes.
have saved because I used this.
Yes, so
and
that
made
gives
this
you a
choice.
proof point, especially in a corporate situation, because if somebody is investing more money to, for a smart lighting, so how much money you have saved? So that definitely will be required for an audit purpose and all that.
Since we do a lot of retail spaces, I've seen in showrooms like jewelry outlets and stuff, you need a lot of lighting fixtures in a very less regular interval.
Yeah.
So with the new designs, which are sleek and compact, at least it doesn't look cluttered like everybody mentioned, and also it again she mentioned about the operation ease. Since you have so many lightings and so many areas, makes it easier with automations and sensors for the users, user experience, and also the company.
I think gone are the days where we had like a box of switches and we had to go turn on, because earlier I think lighting was just functional, right? Now it's more about aesthetics and enriching the user experience. You want scenes, you want the fan also to be controlled on your phone, AC, curtains, everything. So now when we recently did a home which is like a 20,000 square foot home in the city, 3 stories, the client or the lady of the house specifically told me, like in the automation brief, that she wanted the evening lights to come on just as the sun sets, and every alternate day she wants a different scene to automatically come in the house, because they don't want that monotony. So this was something new to me. Usually we just give, the footlights, sensor driven, staircase lights, the toilet is all sensor driven, but this was something novel. Like to each person, this can personally be tailored to their requirements, and it was quite interesting to see how automation can really make all their visions come true and all their requirements, make it very, very personalized to the point of, okay, at this time I want this light to be on in the puja room, during these times in the year the sunlight doesn't come in, so I want this light to be on. So we do a lot of work with the user. So then by installing lights that have this ability to adapt and have, of course, DALI, dimming facilities, we can program the entire space to transform and do all of this with like voice control or over your phone through an app. It's quite easy, and every new project that we're doing, we are pushing the clients to integrate automation, because it just makes your life easier now. You have less, switches that can be operated and messed with, and it just makes everything so seamless and integrated.
So having said that, you mentioned about the particular requirement in a residence. Even in office spaces or retail spaces, there are certain specific requirements like lightings which define the pathway. So people know which direction they need to move and what is the flow of your movement. And also if there is a small level difference and there is a likelihood of seniors who are tripping, who could use the space, tripping. So there also lighting really, what kind of lighting you choose for a particular space. So unique requirements are there in all types of buildings, and lighting really helps in resolving.
Like we earlier said, we are spoiled by choices. So the client is also spoiled by choices.
Because we say yes to everything. Yes, we'll do. Yes, it's possible.
Yeah, that's on a lighter note.
In a modern workspace, one of the client once spoke about it, is that whenever there is an emergency situation, if there is a fire in a office area, so there has to be lights which will direct the people that they have to move in this direction, come out from this particular door. So that can be also programmed. So whenever there is any fire alert, certain lights will start blinking, so that the people can go out from this emergency gate and assemble at this particular place. So that also lighting can help you in that, and there are design requirements like that.
Glad to know that we are evolving so much by the days with so much happening in the industry. I think we are almost through with our panel discussion here. If anybody wants to add in anything, you're please.
Only thing is that I can thank all of you. It was a nice discussion.
Pleasure.
Interactive discussion. I think all of us has learned something out of it, and personally me, I have also learned what's your requirement and how we as Eveready can add more value to your designs.
That's the agenda of this panel discussion.
Check all our boxes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks to each one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.